I can't possibly boil Bryan down to one word. He's unlike anyone I've ever met. He's thoughtful, he's authentic, he's intentional, and he's a visionary. He is not afraid to disrupt the status quo and tackle any problem and take risks in pursuit of creating a better future. And he's so compelling in his vision that others jump on board because they want to be a part of it too.
One word I would choose to describe Bryan is empathetic. And I think a lot of people would know that about him because it's that kind of person, that kind of soul that starts a company like Benevity. Another word that I would choose to use to describe Bryan is tough. And I mean that in the best sense, which is he holds an incredibly high standard for the people around him in terms of their ethics, how they show up. But he also creates an environment where you really are challenged to be your best self and your most honest self.
He's so multifaceted. One word is hard. His drive to deliver impact to so many stakeholders is just very unique.
I first met Bryan back in 2018 when he was looking for a new CFO to join the team at Benevity. And I remember how inspiring he was right from that first meeting. He was talking about changing the world and building what he called back then the Google of goodness right here in Calgary. In terms of how our relationship evolved, Bryan was not only a great leader to me, he's a mentor, he's a sounding board, he's a trusted advisor, he's a confidant, and he's someone that I'm proud to call my friend.
I often tell the story of meeting Bryan in our interview because it has stuck with me to this day and really shaped how I look at leadership and why I chose to work with Benevity. Came in, we started talking, went long, but one of the questions that he asked me was, what are your values? What's your most important value? And I had to think for a minute because I'd never been asked that question. And what I said was, fairness. And in that moment, Bryan's eyes lit up. And it was like this instant connection between two people who shared a core value. And I remember leaving the interview and thinking to myself, I don't want anyone else to have that job, and that this is a company I want to work for, but moreover, that this is a man I want to work for.
What ethical leadership means to me is being able to, or frankly, any leadership I want to be associated with, it means being able to consistently, authentically, and transparently make decisions based on your values and moral code, and to do that even when it's difficult. And how I bring that to my life is probably imperfectly, but I do it with a zeal to improve in that regard all the time.
In my opinion, Bryan has achieved success because he's one of those visionary leaders who could see things 10 years before they actually happened. And so Bryan could quickly see that there was a purpose-driven economy that was emerging, and instinctively and intuitively built a product around it. And to this day, what I tell other business leaders is if you want to learn how to use purpose to be a core value driver or a core business driver, Bryan is the guy to learn it from, because no one I've met has done it in the way that he can do it at the scale that he has achieved.
One would set off with such an audaciously big goal as to have this kind of impact. And there's beautiful small business that can operate very ethically. And I believe Bryan has done that. But then on this level where he's, really tilted the universe for good in a way of facilitating this kind of good and this impact flowing around is just beyond what we would normally think about for an ethical leader. And so, hats off that we have, someone in our city that has done that and really shown that you can shoot for an ethical leadership objective kind of off the charts from anything anyone has ever attempted before, and he succeeded at it.
The idea of doing well by doing good is not just a tagline. It actually does happen. And I think as companies continue to embrace the responsibility and opportunity that flows from that expectation, I think we will see more rounded strategies that include an element of social impact and business opportunity in them. At least I fervently hope so. I used to say all the time, hope is not a strategy. And I'm coming to believe, lately at least, that maybe hope is the start of all strategy.
As one of only a few unicorn companies to come out of Calgary, I think Benevity has put our city and our province on the map, both in the tech industry, but also in the social impact space. But Bryan hasn't just impacted Calgary. Bryan has impacted the world. More than 500,000 nonprofits in 100 different countries have received support through Benevity over the years. And because Bryan is so understated, I don't think that most people realize the level of impact he's had.
To be honest, I've never been much for personal awards. I think because the phrase "it takes a village" is just so profoundly true. But it's obviously flattering to be mentioned in the same breath with the previous winners of this award, and so I'm extremely grateful. I also think it's tremendous validation for the people who have let me lead them in terms of being at Benevity and elsewhere to just validate the sign behind me, that the idea of doing the right thing will hold you in good stead in business and elsewhere.
Bryan, congratulations to you and the people that love and support you. What you've achieved in our city is breathtaking, and I don't think there's a better, good, high-impact company anywhere in the world. And I've been an investor in this space for a long time and have never seen anything that compares to what you and your team did at Benevity. Thank you.
Bryan, congratulations on winning this award. It's well-deserved. I know you're not a big fan of awards, but you earned this one.
Bryan, thank you for your leadership and for your gift to the world.